This dude is a fucking retard. He's debating?
This
No,
is
it's
an
not.
issue.
What is it? But what is the answer to
I don't think you understand the
Why would they allow this man to debate? He is such a fucking retard.
insurrection.
Right, so
The
to Michael's...
Insurrection Act-
well, let me just ask, I mean, Congressman, do you actually know what the Insurrection Act says?
Yes, you know, but this is the in this situation.
Well, hang on.
So what does it say, sir?
Well, hang on. What does it say?
Well, look what we have saw happen in January 6th in the.
You see what I mean by TDS needs to be labeled as a fucking mental disorder already, bro? Like this, it has to be labeled as a mental disorder, bro. There's no fucking way this man is debating on something he doesn't even actually know about. There's no way. There's no fucking way.
Well, let me just ask, I mean, Congressman, do you actually know what the Insurrection Act says?
And if he's a congressman, I completely believe anybody could become congressman now. What the fuck does it take to become congressman, bro? Holy shit. Why is this dumb? Yo, bro. You could have put a dog. A dog, and he would do better as a fucking congressman than this dude.
Yes, you know, but this is the in this situation.
Well, hang on. What does it say?
Well, look what we have saw happen in
January
6th in the
6th.
Congress. That's insurrection.
January
That's
6th.
not the question. The question is...
Oh my
Michael
God,
Knowles
January
went on Piers
6th.
Morgan Uncensored and took on one of the most ridiculous looking and sounding Democrats I have ever seen. And whenever this Democrat kept on repeating the same talking points that every other one does to Michael Knowles tried to get him to define a couple of terms that he was unable to define whatsoever, and that's how most of these Democrats are. Let's get into this clip here where Michael Knowles absolutely annihilates this woke idiot on live television on Piers Morgan Uncensored for not being able to even define and say what he means by these regurgitated talking points that he's using in this debate. Let's check it out.
Specifically on the deployment of federal troops
What the hell am I looking at?
states which are not DC, where obviously the federal government can do that. The president has that power. You know, there is this raging argument now about whether it is constitutional, whether it is lawful for the president of the United States to do what Trump is now rolling out in places like Chicago. What is your view of that?
It's not only not legal, it's not only unconstitutional, but more importantly, it's not even good business because this costs so much putting federal troops in cities. Instead of that, if federal government can give their grants so that local police, law enforcement can hire more people. Right now, they are severely understaffed. They don't have the resources they need to keep our cities safe. Now, in a long-term process...
But aren't you answering your question? I mean, aren't you
I think
answering
you're
the question?
making the point.
Right. I mean, in a way, what you just said is the rationale for doing it, isn't it? I mean, they're under-resourced. They don't have enough people. They can't control the crime. Donald Trump is recognizing this, and he's doing something about it. And I'm curious about how many regular Americans who live in some of these very crime-ridden inner cities in America are really as opposed to it as you sound like you are, because if you've got a lot of crime going on around you, and the police are woefully under-resourced, why would you object to seeing some troops on the streets to just try and restore order and perhaps send a real message to criminals?
See, putting military and reserves
10 years ago.
all over America, major American cities, and militarization of our country is not the solution. The solution is empower the local law enforcement, give them the funds that they need. It's the funding that needs to come so we can have a more long-term, long-lasting solution to it.
Congressman, are you familiar with the insurrection?
Is this dude retarded, bro? He doesn't even know what the fuck the Insurrection Act is. And he's talking about bringing more funds. That's what we need, more funds. There's no way we allow low IQ people. Yo, they just let anybody become congressman now, bro? What's going on, bro? the fuck is going on?
Insurrection Act?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
And this so what do you think that's for? You said that this was illegal. You said it was not unconstitutional and illegal for the federal government to send National Guard into cities and states. What do you think the Insurrection Act is for?
Well, look, this is a issue that the local government should be handling. It is this
no,
is
an ask. I mean, Congressman, do you actually know what the Insurrection Act says?
Yes, you know, but this is the
well, hang on.
So what does it say, brother?
Well, look what we saw happen in January 6th in the Congress. That's insurrection.
No, that's not the question. The question is, are you familiar? Obviously, the government is citing.
That's like even if the question that Michael Knowles asked this person, who's a government official, like what is going on? Number two, number one, even if that was the question that Michael Knowles asked, that's not defining something. You can't say, what is an insurrection? Define the term insurrection. Like this. And then say, well, what happened on January 6th? That's an insurrection. Like, it's just, these people, they just have the same exact software. It's like they're AI robots just repeating the same phrases over and over again.
It really worries me for our government that they allow people like this to fucking be in office and shit.
That's not defining anything. That's just what their programming tells them to say. Like, they all say the same exact thing.
The Insurrection Act as the empowerment to do what it's doing. Are you familiar with what the Insurrection Act allows?
Yes, I am. But look, this president has used all kinds of excuses to break the law. This president has.
He does not know what the fuck this shit means, bro. And that is so telling, bro. That is so telling. What state does this motherfucker work in? What state does he work for? Because if they allowed him in office, imagine what the fuck else brain rot and what the fuck else shit is going on in that state.
No, but that is the law. So what is the law, Congressman? You say you're familiar with the Insurrection Act, but you don't seem to be able to describe what it does, and you're actually contradicting it. So what do you think the Insurrection Act does?
Look, the issue here is that we need our cities safe. Americans want.
He doesn't know. He literally does not know. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm right, but I feel like I have more confidence over this fucking question than he does, bro. And he's a fucking politician. He is who people voted for to represent them. Oh my god, that's so crazy, son.
Well, Congressman, with all due respect, that's not an answer to the question. I mean,
can you lay out what you believe allows Donald Trump to act so unlawfully?
Hang on, Jack, I'm going to come to you very shortly. But just to be clear, Congressman, it's a pretty simple question that Michael posed, which is the government are citing the Insurrection Act as the rationale and the legal tool by which they can do what they're doing. You said it's illegal and wrong and they shouldn't be doing it, but you seem to be struggling to explain what the Insurrection Act actually is. And Michael,
you cannot say something is wrong. You cannot say something is wrong without knowing what it is. That's quite literally the fucking Islam. That's the Islam effect, bro. These people, they fucking like to say something's wrong when they don't know what the fuck it is. Holy shit.
Can you just tell us?
Well, whatever it is, when the National Guards are picking up trash and the National Guards are watering the flowers, that is not Insurrection Act, and that's not what this is meant to be.
What? What the fuck did he just say?
But you seem to be struggling to explain what the Insurrection Act actually is. And Michael, quite rightly, is saying, well, can you just tell us?
Well, whatever it is, when the National Guards are picking up trash and the National Guards are watering the flowers, that is not Insurrection Act, and that's not what this is meant to be.
But do you know what it is, the act?
Yeah.
What is it?
When there is an insurrection, the government has powers to use military, use reserves to address those situations. And this is clearly not the situation here. What we need to do is empower local law enforcement.
Okay, Michael, your response to that?
He don't know what it is.
Data brokers track everything you do online. They sell your personal data to advertise.
It's genuinely embarrassing that this is a government official.
That's what
without
I'm saying,
even speaking a word, just looking at the guy. His hair is very obviously fake. You know, like if you're gonna have a wig on or whatever you would call this, at least make it look
realistic,
believable. You know, that's a little embarrassing. The eyebrows are ridiculous. Like I think the eyebrows are glued on. What the hell is going on? Genuinely, like what is?
This is a sad person, bro. This is a very, very sad person, gang. I don't know how he got in Congress, bro. This really fucking scares me that anybody could be in Congress.
What's going on?
I think the congressman might be a little bit confused because he said that the federal government is breaking the law by sending the National Guard in to restore order to the cities where crime has spiraled out of control, where there's obviously a violation of federal law with all of the illegal aliens running about. And that is actually what it's for. We have a federal government in order to step in when the local and state governments fail. And so this has been used many, many times.
That's what it is. Okay. So basically they step in when the local states fail. Same thing basically from what I was saying. They come in and they remove the people who's in control and they take control. It's kind of the same shit basically. Except they're not removing them. They just taking over their position.
Not merely to restore order if there's some violent revolution, but even, for instance, to desegregate schools. This has been used many, many times over the course of American history. There's nothing illegal about it. And in fact, what President Trump is doing right now is one of the clearest and most just uses of the Insurrection Act when you have cities that are failing, that in your own words, cannot enforce the law, are under-resourced, and are falling into disorder. So I think you've made a good argument for what President Trump is doing.
Okay.
Look what he's doing.
Well, let me bring in Jack. I want to bring in Jack. He's been waiting patiently. I mean, Jack, it seemed to me the congressman actually, maybe inadvertently,
what is this congressman's name, bro?
Explanation for why Trump feels justified in using the Insurrection Act. Because if you agree that the law enforcement in these very crime-ridden cities is failing and under-resourced, then why shouldn't the government use the Insurrection Act to put troops on the ground and try and restore proper order?
Well, because I don't think the intention is to restore proper order. Donald Trump and his entire administration has made it clear that they'd be happy to see unrest come out of sending in the National Guard. That's what they wanted out of their attack on LA. That's what they wanted to happen in DC. Donald Trump sees this as an opportunity.
Do you have any evidence for that?
To intimidate.
Yeah, what evidence do you have of this? You just claim Donald Trump wants to see people get fucked up and shit, and wants to see riots going on. Show me where he said that. Because in my memory, I never heard him say he wants that to go on. He says it's a horrible thing. What the fuck?
People. It's come out directly of the administration that they think it is a win if they go into Portland and nothing happens, but nothing is happening. It's people in T-Rex Halloween costumes who are getting maced for simply exercising their First Amendment right, which, Michael, I thought you cared about. It doesn't really seem like that's the case. But they've also said that if there is...
What? Yo, he just... I don't know, bro. I can't believe a word this man says. Why the fuck would they be why would they be pepper spraying a person in a T-Rex costume? I think this dude's just running shit in his head. He's really making stuff up in his own head.
Where are you getting that from? Hold on, before you make you made an argument.
I think if you would allow me to finish my point,
the Trump administration wants disorder and has admitted this. What's your evidence?
You don't like to hear people speak out, and now I'm delivering a point that you don't seem to like, and you want to silence me. That's what this administration does. It's okay.
I'm just asking for your evidence
today.
Now, Jack, to be clear, you made a statement that the Trump administration actively wanted disorder.
It's also...
Thank you, Piers Morgan. Yo, I ain't gonna lie. I'm starting to fuck with Piers Morgan. Okay, he be flip-flopping a lot, but I'm starting to fuck with him. He's not letting this dumbass fucking retard try to get away with murder. Like, he's literally trying to get away with murder by lying to us and saying something without he's implying something without showing no evidence of it. Like, what the fuck, bro? You ain't gonna just get away with that.
So absolutely hilarious for any sort of left-leaning person, any Democrat ever, to say that's what this administration does. Whenever they're presented with something difficult that they can't answer, they just like try to talk over the other person. That's literally every single leftist debate tactic ever. Like every single time a leftist goes on Piers Morgan and debates someone like Michael Knowles or anyone else, that's what they do. Every single time that they know that they're losing in debate, they just keep cutting the other person off repeatedly. And also, like, if you make a claim that has nothing to back it up, especially an accusation about the person that you're debating, then you should be expected to get cut off whenever something is completely false. You know, if you're just
exactly. If you have no evidence to back your claim, you should not feel away when you get cut off. Because now you're talking nonsense, you're lying, you're spewing bullshit. So the reason why we cut you off is for you to show us evidence of what you're claiming.
Making a completely false accusation, you should be expecting the person to say, what is the proof that you have of me doing or saying that? Like, what is this guy talking about, man? These people are just embarrassing. Like, literally, they just embarrassed themselves going on Piers Morgan here. And Michael Knowles just walks all over them. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about this exchange between Michael Knowles and this just, I don't even know what you would call this. Yeah, this person right crazy, here, man. This guy with this wig on and the glued on eyebrows, just ridiculous that this is a government official. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about Michael Knowles. Absolutely.